I've been getting a lot of questions lately about the AIP diet. And if you have hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, there's a good chance you've heard about the AIP. Maybe you've wondered what it is and how it works, or even where do I begin? So, in today's video, I'm going to break down the basics for you all about AIP, what it is, how it works, and how to get started. Hello, Thyroid Thrivers. Welcome back to Hypothyroid Chef. I'm Ginny Mahar, your thyroid health and cooking coach, and I'm here to help make thyroid-friendly food and lifestyle doable, delicious, and fun. So today we're going to tackle the AIP diet, also known as the Autoimmune Protocol. This has been a game changer on my own journey with Hashimoto's and could be a game changer for yours too. So let's go ahead and dig in. Okay, so the AIP diet is a powerful elimination and reintroduction protocol. It's designed to calm the immune system, help heal the gut, and lower inflammation, especially chronic and systemic inflammation. And these are three big root causes behind some of the most common autoimmune symptoms. It was originally born from the paleo movement and actually was originally called autoimmune paleo, but now the more common term is the autoimmune protocol or AIP. As a full-scale elimination diet, the goal of AIP is to cut out several inflammatory foods, as well foods that are, generally inflammatory for most people, as well as foods that might be inflammatory for some individuals, and then eventually reintroduce those foods. So, what gets eliminated? All right, what you eliminate on AIP is gluten, which includes wheat, barley, rye, and spelt. Also, dairy, including milk, yogurt, cheese, cream, and butter. Also, ultra-processed foods or UPFs, including industrial seed oils, refined sugars, artificial sweeteners, all grains, including gluten-free ones, legumes, including beans, lentils, peanuts, and soy, nightshades, which are tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, potatoes, and chilies, and that includes nightshade spices, as well as eggs, nuts and seeds, including seed-based spices like cumin, mustard, and paprika. And now I know what you're thinking. Whoa, like that's a lot of foods to cut out, but hang in there. This is a temporary phase of the journey, and the clarity that you can get from it can really be super valuable, priceless, actually. Let's talk about what you can eat on AIP. So, a lot of AIP meals are really based around what thyroid friendly meals are based on. Lots of colorful, nutrient dense veggies without nightshades, of course. We want to focus on high quality animal protein like grass fed beef, wild caught seafood, also healthy fats like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, bone broth, and ferments can be helpful. Also, lots of fresh herbs for flavor, and some fruit is allowed in moderation. Now, AIP isn't a weight loss diet, but quite a few people do find that they actually do drop some weight on AIP. Part of that is because that inflammation is being lowered, and part of it is sometimes because it's easy not to eat enough on AIP. So that's one kind of pro tip for you if you're embarking on AIP is make sure you're eating enough. You can think of AIP kind of like Marie Kondoing your diet, okay? Only the foods that spark healing get to stay. But it's also key to remember here that the elimination phase of AIP is not meant to be forever. There are actually three main parts of the AIP. So, first is that elimination phase. That's just the first part. And this is that pretty strict but short term phase where you are removing those inflammatory or potentially triggering foods to help heal and calm inflammation. Part two is the reintroduction phase. And this is actually done in four distinct reintroduction phases. We won't go that deep into this today, but there are like the foods are lined out in these four reintroduction phases. And this is a very systematic and intentional reintroduction of the foods you eliminated. This is done one at a time. That's kind of like the key rule here. Reintroducing just one food at a time is important so that you can clearly identify and connect those dots between which foods are causing which symptoms for you. And The reintroduction phase is where a lot of people can go off course. It's really easy to do that and get impatient and just go back to eating a whole bunch of foods at once. But if you can give yourself time and do that reintroduction phase carefully, you will walk away with a lot of valuable knowledge about exactly what foods your body thrives on and doesn't thrive on. So that's like solid gold. So if you're coming up on the reintroduction phase, stay strong. You got this, and know that it is worth it to do this the right way. Finally, after completing the elimination phase, followed by the reintroduction phase, you enter part three, which is maintenance phase of AIP. This is your customized long-term way of eating, right? Based on the needs of your unique body, based on what you learned during those reintroductions, and also, maybe changes you noticed during eliminations. Maybe you chose not to reintroduce all foods if it was very, noticeable, like the improvements that you were feeling from eliminating certain foods. So, in other words, this is where at this point, you've really found your ideal personalized eating style based on the results of your elimination reintroduction trial. And this approach, the elimination reintroduction approach, AIP is one type of elimination diet. There are others, but this approach is how we can reach that pinnacle of personalized nutrition that's really tailored to our unique needs, the needs of your body, right? It's also considered the gold standard for identifying food sensitivities, even more so than food sensitivity testing. And some people will use things like this elimination reintroduction process to also confirm the results of maybe some food sensitivity testing they had done. So, why does AIP work? Here's why AIP can be so powerful: because it supports gut healing, it reduces inflammation, and it can help calm an overactive immune system. So that's really important for those of us with autoimmune disease. And did you know that over 90% of hypothyroidism cases in the US and other developed countries are actually caused by autoimmune disease, most commonly Hashimoto's? So that means that a lot of us are walking around, maybe we're just treating symptoms, but we're not really even aware of or treating the root cause. Inflammation really drives a lot of autoimmunity. So for many, including myself, AIP can be a really great tool to add to our Thrivers toolkit. For me, it has helped ease a lot of symptoms like joint pain, brain fog, bloating, that crushing fatigue that can often accompany hypothyroidism. When I first tried AIP, I was pretty amazed with how much better I felt in just a couple weeks. Also, it helped me bring my TPO antibodies way down. I cut them about in half, and they stayed there for years, even after like I was way past the point of being done with the elimination phase of AIP. So it really helped me get started on that process of what I call basically thyroid friendly eating. Eating for, the needs of our bodies, eating in an anti-inflammatory way, which means avoiding A, inflammatory foods, and B, foods that are inflammatory for us as individuals, and also incorporating a lot of nutrient dense, colorful, anti-inflammatory foods. I have used AIP numerous times on my journey to help restore gut balance. This is a really common issue for us as thyroid thrivers. It's helped me sleep better. It's helped me have more energy. I'm really glad that I have AIP to turn to during those times when my Hashimoto symptoms are maybe starting to flare up. And I'm not alone. So many thyroid and autoimmune patients who are in my coaching community also have reported similar wins. There is some evidence behind this. We need more evidence around AIP. There just really haven't been a lot of studies done. But in 2017, a clinical study did show that AIP significantly reduced symptoms and inflammatory markers in people with IBD, inflammatory bowel disease. And that happened in just 6 weeks. So the results can be, when you think about like the time invested in really turning things around with your health, 6 weeks isn't all that long. That can be very worthwhile for some individuals. More research, again, is really needed around this. More research is needed for Hashimoto specifically, but it's a promising protocol, and it's a really can be a very helpful tool in your autoimmune toolkit. There are numerous benefits also that are good for anyone, not just autoimmune patients. So you don't have to have Hashimoto's to benefit from AIP. Now, that said, depending on the individual, AIP may not be the right fit for everyone. And that includes those with a history of disordered eating because the level of restrictions and tracking and everything can be triggering for some individuals. AIP also may not be right for people with SIBO or certain specific food sensitivities or gut flora imbalances that require very specific dietary modifications like low FODMAP. Also, AIP might not be right for people with complex food sensitivities like histamines, sulfur, oxalates, because AIP recipes can be high in those naturally occurring compounds from otherwise healthy foods like greens and beets and bone broth. And finally, AIP might not be right for people under significant stress or overwhelm because, yeah, it takes some extra bandwidth to embark on the AIP, and we don't want to undermine our results by just like piling more stress onto an already stressed out individual, maybe someone's going through something like a cross-country move or a job change or a divorce. Those aren't really like the best situations to be embarking on AIP. I see AIP being a very powerful tool, but there are those cases where, for people in any of those situations I just mentioned, it might not be the right fit. If you're interested in trying AIP, you might be asking, how do I get started? So let me walk you through 3 quick steps to get going. Step one, you want to focus on what you can eat versus what you can't eat. All right, this is true for thyroid-friendly eating in general. You want to stock your kitchen with some AIP staples, leafy greens, sweet potatoes, wild-caught salmon, grass-fed meat, bone broth, organic unrefined coconut oil. Step two, you want to meal prep like a boss. Batch cooking is going to be your savior. Life doesn't slow down for elimination diet, so it's really important to have some grab and go meals ready. And it's just a huge game changer. It just makes things so much easier. So you want to be doing things like making enough so that you have leftovers and don't have to cook every single meal. You want to be doing things like making double batches of anything that's freezer friendly so you can pack those away and have some AIP friendly meals on hand. Also, find some good AIP recipe resources that you like, things that make you feel appetized and excited about your meals. I offer a ton of AIP recipes that you can browse and choose from for free in the Hypothyroid Chef recipe library. So I'll link to my AIP recipe collection in the video description below. Step three, you want to commit to the process. So just try as much as you can. This is one of those where we do kind of really need to try to stick to the process. Stick to the elimination phase for as long as it takes. For some people, that might be 30 days, 90 days, sometimes longer, really depending on what your healthcare practitioner recommends. But however long it is, really try to stick with it. And then with the reintroduction phase, really try to reintroduce those foods one at a time and track your body's response to each of those foods carefully. We want to be leaving like 3 to 5 days in between each dietary reintroduction and tracking carefully, like, how is my body responding to this reintroduction? And that's how you get those super valuable results from your efforts. What foods cause which symptoms for my body? So, yes, AIP can feel like a big commitment, but it can also help you reverse symptoms, calm inflammation, heal the gut, and ultimately feel like yourself again. So, it really, for a lot of individuals, can be worth it. If you're getting ready to embark on AIP for the first time, remember, you got this. It's not a forever diet. This is a discovery mission. The AIP diet, yes, it can be challenging, but it can also be one of the most powerful tools in your Thrivers toolkit. If you do it with the right support, it's also totally doable and potentially life-changing. So if you want to embark on AIP with some extra help, extra support, guidance, resources, recipes, and a community of other thyroid thrivers ready to cheer you on, you can join me and my community in the Thrivers Club. This is my group health coaching community where together we are reclaiming our health with tools just like this. I have so many resources and lots of ways to support anyone embarking on the AIP. All right, if this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with another thyroid thriver. Once again, I'll link to those AIP-friendly recipes and more free and helpful resources for you in the video description below. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to try and help answer your questions about AIP. And as your thyroid health and cooking coach, I'm here for you. I'm cheering you on. And as you find what works for your body, you can feel better. You don't have to do this alone. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ginny Mahar, your thyroid health and cooking coach, wishing you happy cooking, happy thriving, and the best of health. See you next time.